Welcome to another episode of Hobbies My Wife Hates. Today we're going to paint a Trederran Strike Team Legionnaire using the Kharkarus Confederacy faction colors. The Kharkarus Confederacy are the equivalent of the Soviets for the planet Trederran. So sit back, enjoy this video, let me know how you like it, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so now we're going to paint this Strike Force Legionnaire. Now I base coated him with an Army Painter Oak Brown primer, as brown was going to be the base coat. They have various spray primers, and Oak Brown is just happens to be one of them. So I'm going to try something different than I did with the other Strike Team members. I think I'm going to start with a wash and see how it goes from there. In this case, we're going to use dark tone wash. We'll do all the clothing. You'll notice that I've already started the base. Instructions on how to make a rocky base can be found in my last video. So now we see that he's been base coated and washed. I should say primed and washed. And we're going to let him dry. Now he's dry, and we're going to do a dry brush over him. In this case, we're going to use Tomb King Tan. All right, now we'll just let that dry, and we'll start our next step. Okay, so now we got to paint the clothing, and we're going to use hardened leather. For the clothes. And we're going to paint pants, but not his boots. I'm painting it brown because that is the color of the Kharkarus Confederacy colors. And the hardened leather color, speed paint, it's just an all-around great brown. I was going to be careful not to get his belt or any straps. Again, being careful not to get any on his belt. I want to get in his gloves because his gloves are going to be another color. Same color as the belt. He's got a... I'm also not going to paint these bags here brown. And just making sure any areas we missed. And we'll let that dry. And the next color we're going to do is some leather brown. From Army Painter. For this, we're going to do a dry brush. I'm going to get anywhere the light would hit. Therefore, we're not going to paint underneath. And we'll let that dry. Now we're going to take some strong tone wash and just get into some of the recesses. We're not going to do a complete wash. Just getting into some of the folds of his clothing. Okay. We'll let that dry. We'll do a quick highlight, seeing some more leather brown. Just do some and we'll let that dry. And we're going to paint the metal areas, and we're going to use, in this case, enchanted steel. And so we'll start with his blade. And then we'll move on to his breathing apparatus. I want to thank Alien over at Flying Frog. I got to play on a Trederran table at Dice Fest this year, and we used the Kharkarus Confederacy strike team, and he did such a great job painting his strike team that I emulated it here. So we'll paint his helmet. The back of his rack. And then we've got to paint his rifle. We'll let this dry. We're going to use some dark wood to paint the wood areas on his rifle. Like the leather, this is a speed paint. See, we missed an area of metal. Okay. We'll let that dry. And we'll start working on the gloves, the boots, the belt, and the bags on his backpack. And for that, we're going to use camo cloak. I'm going to get his gloves now. It's really starting to come alive. If you read the lore of the Kharkarus Confederacy, their land seems to be cold and frozen. I picture it much like Siberia in Russia. Put the bags on his belt. And bags. And we'll let that dry. And you notice I did not paint his mask green. That was intentional. Now we'll take some Army Painter, Army Green. And just do some highlights. fingers on his glove. All right. And making sure we get these areas where the light would hit. And we'll highlight his backpack. All right. And we'll let that dry. All right. All right. Okay, we'll let that dry. Now we're going to paint his mask. And first, we're going to use some strong tone on them. We need some strong tone. And we'll let that dry, and while that's drying, we're going to lighten up the buttons so that we can put some metal lighten them up. Right, and we're gonna let that dry. Now we're gonna dry brush his mask. And that we are again using some, this time, skeletal bone. And there's some other areas we want to do this. And we'll we're almost done here. Okay, and then do the trim around his shoulders. All right. I'm going to just do a few of these straps. And that's it with the bleached bone. Next, we're gonna do his tubes and his gun strap, and for this, we're gonna use speed paint, army painter speed paint, Grim Black. Paint all the tubes. All right. And the strap on his gun. All right. We'll let that dry. We now gotta just go back and do some touch-ups, like the nozzle on his gas mask. We're gonna paint that with the enchanted steel. And then we're going to paint the buttons on his bag. Belt. Maybe the latch on each of these. Bags. All right. Now we want to start working on the eyes, the lenses of their goggles. So we're going to take some Army Painter white. All right, and we're gonna let that dry. And while that's drying, we're gonna do some touch-ups on the metal using gunmetal. Army Painter gunmetal. And for this, we're just going to go over the shiny areas, the areas where the light would hit. Okay. And the top of his okay, we'll do up here. And we're going to do the top of his helmet. And we're going to let that dry. Now for the lenses. We're going to start off with Lens Flare Glow. This is a Army Painter Warpoints Fanatics effects paint. You can see that it's a very bright neon yellow. Take that and we're going to paint each lens. It doesn't matter if a little bit gets on the sides, because that could be the object source lighting. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to use Vivid Volt, which is just a little lighter than the Lens Flare Glow. And we're going to put a little dot of this in the center of each lens. And with that, the basic miniature is done. I will finish the base off camera, and we'll be back with the final product. Okay, and here we are with the final product. Base is complete. Base is complete. And it's ready for the table. Well, there we have it, the Trederran Legionnaire using Kharkarus Confederacy colors. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, make some comments. Also, please remember to like and subscribe. And I'll see you soon with another video.